Welcome, viewers. Pour yourself a goblet of cheap wine, clutch your purse tight, and behold the story of England's most enthusiastic accountant, Henry VII. Yes, today we unravel the tale of a man who won a kingdom, counted every coin twice, and probably charged his own mother interest. Henry Tudor, later known as Henry VII, spent his early life doing what most claimants to the English throne do, running for his life. Exiled, poor, and quite literally a footnote in the bastard line of John of Gaunt, Henry might have lived and died a nobody, if not for the helpful career-advancing villainy of Richard III. Thanks, Richard, for murdering your way out of a job. After winning the Battle of Bosworth, by the way, if you want to become king, a bloody great battle tends to help. Henry sauntered south, slightly confused, clutching the world's shakiest claim to the throne. His supporters, let's call them a select group. 2 English nobles, some exiles, and his uncle Jasper, who sounds like he should be running a haunted pub, not a rebellion. Contemporary chroniclers, paint Henry as slender, tall and attractive. At least until his hair went white, his teeth decayed into oblivion, and his skin took on that lovely, permanently anxious tacksman pallor. No wonder he avoided smiling for the coins. Now, about that whole right to the throne thing, Henry's claim was, let's be honest, flimsier than a medieval toilet paper. His mother technically had the better claim. But what's a little succession crisis between friends? Henry did what any sensible usurper would. He declared his reign started before the Battle of Bosworth, making Richard III retroactively a traitor. Brilliant. Also, utter legal nonsense. He even delayed marrying Elizabeth of York until after his coronation. Heaven forbid anyone think he owed the crown to his wife. This is Tudor England, not a Netflix drama. The actual justification for his reign? I won, deal with it. Divine right, but mostly divine luck. Henry's new supporters. The nobility were, in modern terms, wait and see, which is polite for sitting on the fence, arms folded. Henry's solution was to hire 200 beefy blokes with halberds, his own yeomen of the guard, dressed in white and green like medieval marshmallows. The message was clear: try anything and you'll be on the sharp end. Henry draped himself in royal bling, had himself painted as the new King Arthur, and minted coins with his face on them, a medieval version of slapping your selfie on every pound coin. He even invented the white and red Tudor rose, a public relations masterstroke that Shakespeare would later turn into historic gospel. Who needs actual legitimacy when you've got decent branding? But, as with all soap operas, trouble came knocking. Enter Lambert Simnel, a pretty boy with a paper crown, paraded in Dublin as Edward VI. He was backed by some Yorkist exiles, Margaret of Burgundy, and plot twist, even Henry's own mother-in-law, Elizabeth Woodville. She apparently decided if she couldn't have the throne, her daughter shouldn't have it either. Family, eh? The Battle of Stoke was a mess. 12,000 men fighting 8,000 and nearly losing. Henry just about survived. Simnel got a new career as a royal kitchen turnspit. If you think your job's bad, at least you didn't go from king to dog food spinner. As for Elizabeth Woodville, packed off to a nunnery. That's Tudor human resources for you. Not to be outdone, the Yorkists tried again. Perkin Warbeck, the man of 1,000 backstories. Was he Richard? Lost prince in the Tower? Illegitimate son of Edward IV? Margaret of Burgundy's love child? A Flemish boatman's lucky break? The plot thickened faster than a bad medieval stew. Warbeck was embraced by everyone who hated Henry. The French, the Irish, Margaret of Burgundy, even James IV of Scotland, who married him off to his cousin, as you do. But every time he tried to invade, the English greeted him with a yawn and a locked door. Warbeck's campaign ended not with a bang, but with him paraded through London as a figure of ridicule, forced to confess and finally hanged, along with the unlucky Earl of Warwick, who was so out of touch he apparently couldn't tell a goose from a capon. Charming. With the Yorkist threat finally squashed, Henry could focus on his true passion: money. Forget chivalry or crusades. This was the age of royal accountancy. He was so obsessed with cash that he traded illegally with the Pope's monopoly, raked in 45% more revenue than his predecessors, and turned court life into a daily episode of Who Wants to Be Extorted. His legacy? More lawsuits than jousts. Henry preferred lawyers and merchants to actual nobles, after all. You can't trust someone with a castle. He ruled through courts like the Star Chamber, where justice was served swiftly, harshly, and preferably without a jury. Offend the king and you'd soon be fined, bankrupted, or for variety, sent to the kitchen to turn some more spits. Henry's England did have a few world firsts. He backed the first English expeditions to North America. John Cabot found Newfoundland, brought back 3 locals, who, after 2 years, were clothed like Englishmen, but rather tellingly, never uttered a word. Probably the only wise response to English hospitality. As age set in, Henry became the ultimate medieval introvert, creating the privy chamber so he could count his coins in peace, away from the treacherous masses. He kept fools, dancers, and even a royal menagerie for company. Because nothing says stable monarchy like a king, a monkey, and a man called Ringley, the abbot of misrule. His henchmen, Empson and Dudley, perfected the art of legalized mugging. Fines for everyone, threats for dessert. The nobility learned quickly that, whether you lived frugally or lavishly, Henry would still find a way to empty your wallet. Thomas More put it best. One thing pretended and another meant. Sounds like every tax office I've ever known. In the end, Henry VII died rich, unloved, and, miracle of miracles, with no debt. He made sure his son inherited the kingdom solvent and left England relieved, if not actually grateful. As one noble sighed, avarice has fled the country. Spoiler, it hadn't. If anything, Henry just made being a greedy king fashionable. So viewer, what did we learn today? If you want to win a kingdom, all you really need is a big sword, and a loose grasp of legal precedent, and a truly pathological love of cash. Henry VII, the king who proved you could rule England with one hand on the crown and the other firmly in everyone's pockets. Follow for more history drenched in sarcasm and dread.